Now let's move on to Reggie.
Yeah, we were
Hammond.
looking at answers.
Yeah. I'm gonna...
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, Reggie Hammond's response to, as a Jehovah's Witness, if you were raised as a JW, wouldn't it benefit you to do research outside the JWs to confirm that you have the truth as an adult?
His response.
If you were raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, learn the truth, and love Jehovah your God, why would you research what's on the outside? You already see that. Do you see any others that carry the name of Jehovah, teach you about life on earth, seeing your loved ones again? In my case, what was the church teaching me, and what did I see? Jesus died on a cross and I'm going to heaven? It was God's plan for a kidnap, rape, and murder because he needed another little angel?
I assume he's referring to, like sometimes bad things happen to good people, and the explanation is God wanted another angel.
Yeah, I'm going to bleep a lot of that because, just in case I was, like, personal.
I mean, if it's a podcast, I don't think it matters. Well, yeah, fine, whatever. Let's hope that wasn't personal to Reggie.
Yeah.
He shared it. If it was personal to him, then maybe he shouldn't have, but... Yeah.
But I'm just going to leave it there because that already is so much that I want to talk about. Okay, so...
Yeah, there's more here to talk about, but we should address this first.
So first, this part, this is something we get a lot of. I remember when I was in my congregation, my Kingdom Hall, a new woman joined. She was studying, got baptized, got married. It was actually an interesting story. She met a man who was currently an active witness, and then he was like, look, if we're going to do this, you need to, like, become a witness. With me. And then she did. And then I was like, okay, no
bad play.
But she really liked it, and it ended up...
I mean, I guess if she's happy.
It ended up not working out with them.
So she didn't like it that much?
Well, she ended up... No, he reneged.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Oh. But she met someone else better. But anyway, yeah, okay. He brought her into a cult and dipped, basically.
High control group.
But anyway, But anyway, I remember having talks with her, and she was like, oh, you're so lucky you were raised a witness, Ugh. I wish I wouldn't have had, like, the life that I, like, she had, like, a lot of serious stuff going on. Right. And I was like, honestly, people say that to me a lot, but I kind of wish it was the other way around. And, like, this was me genuinely not out at all, really, for the conversation.
You were in.
I was in it to win it. But I was like, honestly, I think the other way around, I would have liked to have been witness too, so that I could, like, not really, it's kind of rigged when your parents show you the truth. And, like, yeah. I didn't even think about, like, all the implications of what I said. And it's not like she reported me for thought crime. But, she was just like, oh, I guess I never thought of it that way. And I was like, yeah, you can be really sure that you really made the truth your own. And, we kind of left it at that.
The implication being that you were never sure that you had made the truth your own. And it turns out you had not.
I had not. Morgan Freeman soundbite right there.
You did not.
But then, so that's the one thing. So, like, why would you research what's on the outside? You have the truth right here. You're so lucky, And
this is literally what I was talking about before, where you started from the assumption that everything you have is true. Mm-hmm. So, researching what's outside of that would be not just antithetical to what you already believe, not just antithetical to what you've been told to do, but also seems like a waste of time because you are not interested in finding out what the truth is, because you've already decided what the truth is.
And that's what a lot of this post is. The last thing I do...
He's also very angry about it seems.
But it's, like, incredible.
Which is fine. You know what? Totally fine to be angry. I don't want to make it seem like we're saying, oh, he's wrong because he's angry. Anger is a perfectly reasonable response in some cases, right?
So, like, if you're defending what you believe, like,
do whatever, right?
Fight for your rights.
Because I've been angry when people question my ideas, my beliefs, or whatever, and I don't want to hold it against him.
Yeah.
Right?
But the last thing from, like, this, most of this is just, like, more of what Bob said about starting from one place. But he also says seeing your loved ones again. And he just, like, mentions that among a bunch of other stuff, which I think is interesting because, the organization basically holds your dead loved ones hostage. Like, whether they mean to or not, you know, if they reach out to somebody...
whether they're consciously aware that they're doing it or not. Yeah.
But, like, you know, if you're hope, and I know people who've been, like, who've gone through struggles like this, when you lose someone and you're, like, a young baptized witness, there's a lot of pressure on you to be a perfect witness. Otherwise, you're not going to see your dead loved one again. Like, it's real. Like, I don't think people, and like, you know, it's the best life.
Terrifying.
It's the best life ever. But, like, if you're having doubts, it's like, well, you need to shut those out if you want to see Mama Joe again.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's not fair. Yeah. And so if, but the fact that
what would you say to somebody who says, but it's true? If they really, I mean, first of all, I have heard non-believers make arguments like, if it makes them happy to believe it, they should believe it. Because it makes them happy to believe that. And I kind of get that, but I want to know, what about someone who says, I believe that it's true that I will see my loved ones again, and actually, I want to ask a more pertinent question. When you were a witness and people died, were people still as sad as you imagine they would be?
So that's the thing.
Because I would imagine people would be just as sad as anyone else.
So that's the interesting thing. It's like the immediate people affected. So, like, you lose your spouse to death.
Yeah.
The spouse, like, they
lose your spouse to death is such a weird phrase.
Is that a witness phrase?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just say they died.
Okay. Well,
death isn't a person. It's
the longer Bob and I talk, the more I'll say stuff, and then I think that's just what people say, but it is not what everybody.
Yeah, it's really it's fascinating to be hearing all these words and phrases that I've just never. That are a totally separate dialect.
So maybe if anyone was doubting that I'm a witness, maybe like my knowledge of the jargon will...
And if anybody thought I was secretly a witness, they'll be disabused of that belief.
Okay, so when you lose someone, like, there is grief. Like, I've seen people like inconsolably crying because they're grieving. The memorial service is very strange.
Huh.
Now, granted, I've never been to a worldly person's anything when they die.
Really?
No.
I was about to say we should go. But I can't exactly plan someone's death. That's called murder.
I'll make it happen.
I could probably arrange for something if you really want to.
But, yeah, so I've only been to witness memorials before, and it is... And, you know, at the time I didn't really think anything of it because, you know, you only know what you know. But it's like a paragraph about this person.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they were funny and they liked doing this and that.
They were so into X, Y, Z, yeah.
But then at this age, they made the truth their own. They were baptized, and these are all their spiritual accomplishments, and Jehovah thanks them for it. Goodbye. And then...
So is it like a second paragraph about Jehovah, or is it like a majority of the program?
Like, it's like a 30-minute thing. It's a whole talk for this person. But it's like...
About Jehovah.
Yeah, and it's more like they focus on the resurrection, which, like, on one hand, I can understand.
Yeah. That's supposed to be consolation.
Yeah, at the same time, though, it's like kind of, I feel like it invalidates your feelings because, like, if you died, I wouldn't really care if I'm going to see you later. I want to see you now. And that's my issue. My issue is that I don't see you now.
That's the thing I've always found really interesting when people talk about, like for example, in non-witness Christianity, a lot of Christian denominations believe that people go to either heaven or hell when they die. And first of all, I've never seen anyone at a funeral say, like, that guy's going to hell, right? Never seen that. But it's always like he's going up to the big man in the sky. He's in heaven. He's dancing with the angels.
I have no reason to know this, but I'm under the assumption we assume that, like, the people who go to hell are the people that, like, nobody goes to their funeral. Like,
what? No.
I don't know. Is that, like, not the
I mean, that very much depends on whose version of hell you're talking about.
I don't know, like, because, like, they always say things like, no one mourns the wicked, so I always figure...
Okay, but, like, if Catholicism is true, then every JW goes to hell, so does every Hindu and every Muslim.
That's
well, I guess I shouldn't say that. That may not be true. I'm not necessarily up to speed on Catholicism. But, like, there are certainly versions of Christianity that believe in hell and believe that anybody who doesn't follow their particular sect of Christianity goes to hell. And it doesn't matter whether you were, quote-unquote, wicked by your definition of wicked. It matters whether you were wicked by God's definition of wicked, which means you didn't think the right things no matter what you did.
I remember in high school, I was friends with this girl. She was a Messianic Jew, and I told her, like, some of my biblical beliefs. And she was like...
Golly, I wish I had been a fly on the wall for that conversation.
She was so scared for me. I would say...
Oh, that makes me so sad.
She was like, I just don't want you to go to hell.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, like, what's happening.
You were in... What grade were you?
I want to say I can't remember, 9th or 10th grade.
I know... I have had friends who are religious who recounted to me later that when they were small children, and this is a very common belief, actually, that you, as a very small child, you find out that hell apparently exists and that almost all your friends are going there because they don't, you meet your friends in school, you don't meet your friends necessarily in church. And so kids will come home after a long day at school and just cry about the idea that their friends are going to hell. They don't want their friends to go to hell. And it's a terrifying thing. There are atheists. There's actually a surprising number of atheists who no longer believe in hell but still have nightmares about hell being a teaching. And I remember you telling me how the witnesses don't believe in hell, and that's a good thing. And I was like, oh, that's good. But, like, there's a whole host of other things that the witnesses believe that I don't find so wholesome.
Yeah, I think it's weird because, like, on one hand, it really depends on, like, person to person. And, like, when I was talking to you, obviously I was not a very good witness at this time. But I took comfort in there's no hell because it was like, okay, taking the one man, one woman metaphor.
Metaphor? What do you mean?
Oh, sorry, the Caleb and Sophia video, one man, one woman?
Oh, right, yes.
So taking their, like...
The one that's anti-lesbian couple thing out. Okay.
But basically what they say in that is, like, you can't go through security to get into paradise if you got, like, the wrong stuff in your bag.
Yeah, because being a lesbian is dangerous.
Just put your gay in a bag.
Put your gay in a bag, put it onto the thing, they will search your bag, find the gay, take it away, you may go. But it's like pouring out the water bottle at the airport. Okay,
you're kind of confusing my point.
Sorry.
But what I was getting at was, once I was like, oh God, I am not getting into paradise, I was kind of relieved. I was like, okay, well, when it's the end for me, I'll just be dead.
Right.
But, I have another relative in, like, a similar boat with me, but they are POME too.
Right.
I don't know.
Mentally in.
We haven't really done, like, a spirituality check lately, so I don't know where.
Talk to them about that.
I don't know where they stand currently, if they're in an existential crisis or not. But they're, the thought of nothing, of, like, their loved ones partying it up in paradise and them just under the ground, and, like, nothing, was so horrifying to them. And, like, when you're, like, like, as a witness, you're taught that, like, death is unnatural.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Death is not natural. Death is not what God wants for us, to die. We're supposed to
So their definition of natural is what God wants?
I guess, yeah.
Because, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. To me, natural is relating to nature, relating to the...
Death, I guess, is basically supernatural. I mean, that's what we're talking about it. Like, it's like a curse placed on us by Satan.
But I mean, like...
God.
But, like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, regardless of whether God exists or not, I feel like everything is natural.
But no.
Because it exists in the world and it is part of nature, right? Like, even like computers. Computers are a natural byproduct of our existence because we're just natural beings. We naturally exist.
Yeah, but
we eat food, we crap, and we make computers.
I don't know. I mean, someone can like correct me in the comments or something. I don't know if they would say unnatural, but I have heard in my Kingdom Hall, I have heard people say like, God never intended for us to die.
Sure.
This is not natural for us.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still the one who imposed that punishment on us.
Yeah. So, I think, honestly...
I feel like we've kind of covered the majority of the answers to the... Well, not answers, but...
Yeah, I liked where...
We touched on them.
Yeah, because, like, we're not here to, like, quote mine everything and, like, figure out, like, the root of their core being. I just looked at it, and it got me thinking, and I wanted to talk, and just sort of put this out there. As you saw, we talked about a wide range of things. You're probably listening to one of the clips of these conversations.
Fair.
So...
But I mean, if we put this out as a whole part, I would think, we could make a series of us just having these kind of free-roaming conversations.
Yeah. And, like, if you listen to, like, the full thing, and you got here, thank you for that. That's
Please,
cool.
by all means, share your thoughts in whatever comment section or Instagram or whatever we have, below.
For sure. So, on that note, thank you guys. It's been really cool just dishing here. And we'll check you later.